Hello everyone, happy Monday. I'm Bev McCullough of Flamingo Toes, and I'm excited to be here with you guys on, what is this, the third Monday in May? It's the third week of our sew along, which has been really, really fun, and I can't believe we're almost done with May. This is a little crazy town. Like, what happened to May? I feel like I turned around and it was gone. So there's that. Well, anyway, it's been very fun. We are sewing up my Heartland quilt together, so it's perfect for this time of year. And I saw a bunch of you in the comments talking about how that you were behind in the sew along, and you know we don't worry about that here. We just finish our quilts when we finish our quilts. There's no shame. No quilt along. Let's see, how can we word that? No sew along shaming. We'll make a shirt. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. It's gorgeous today. Like, it's beautiful outside, but a bit on the toasty. So I'm admiring the outside from inside. So that's nice. It's a really lovely day. It sounds like we're finally getting to summer weather here in Tennessee, which is fine. I suppose if it has to happen, it can eventually come, it's fine. But we are getting a barn put up, and it started today, so I'm very excited about that. I've been kind of glued to the windows watching the progress. So when it gets all done, I'll share a picture of it in my stories on Instagram. So if you guys want to see, you can watch for that. But it's been really fun to watch the sides go up. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, but that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So I was slightly disappointed when there was no dancing and or fighting. There's just, nice people putting up my barn, and they're just being friendly about it. So I suppose that's fine. My expectations were too high. All right, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. You guys know I'm a kook. All right, so let's see who's here today. Leona was first up. She's here from North Carolina, and Ruth is here. Deneen is here. Rebecca is here. Nandy's here. Hey, Nandy, we missed you. And Wendy is here. She's going to cut her fabric today. Yay, go Wendy. Jackie's here. She's waiting on her fabric. That's great. No, okay, so here's the little flurry of everybody being behind, but we've all decided that that's fine and we don't mind. Cheryl's here from Florida. Leslie's here from beautiful sunny Bothell, Washington. That sounds nice. Sherry's here. Nandy is wondering if you can make this quilt with the jelly roll. We're going to talk about that when we talk about cutting in just a little bit, Nandy. So I will give you some information about that. Rebecca says it's hot there. Getting AC installed tomorrow. Oh, good for you, Rebecca. And Roxanne is here. Hey, Roxana. Therese is here. Beautiful day, but hot. Same. She got her fabric. Yay. And she's putting her borders on her tea party quilt. Yay, Teresa! That's awesome. Good job. Lisa's here. It's hot. Free Spirit's here. Are you going to make a barn quilt for my barn? She asks. Yes, of course. So we named our farm the Double Windmill Farm. We love the big, huge windmills. We're actually going to buy one. Not a working windmill, but a decorative windmill. So we're going to get a smaller one too, so we can have the double windmill thing. And my grandpa had a farm growing up, and then he had a windmill in his yard, so it always makes me think of my grandpa. So that's where that came from. But we're going to make a quilt block that looks like a double pinwheel. So, well, and by we, I mean I, because my husband isn't really into designing the quilt blocks so much as me. So we're going to have a double pinwheel block on the front of the barn. So excited about that. Marcy's here. Marion is here. Diane from Tellico Village, Tennessee. I don't know where that is, Diane, but it sounds like we're close neighbors. Marcy says it's hot in Mineola. Sorry about that. And Lisa's here. Yay. Oh, I'm glad you guys are here. So here's where we're at in the sew-along. So this is what we're doing now for this sew-along. In case this is your first time with the sew-alongs, we used to have our long chats and talk about all the other things going on in the blog, and then we got to sewing, but now we're flipping that because it just seems to make a little bit more sense if you're only here for the sewing part, then you don't have to wait so long. Though I love it when you guys hang out and chat with me at the end about the other things going on the website. So that isn't like an excuse to leave or anything like that. So we're going to talk about the block and cutting and piecing today. And then we will have the last photo I will show you of the RBD block challenge, because next week mine will already be in the quilt. It's actually almost all pieced together except for the last couple blocks. Let's see, the blocks are pieced, but the whole quilt's actually pieced together, so I can get it on the long arm this week so that I can show you guys the finished layout when the layout releases on Tuesday. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll have our giveaways, and we're just gonna chat about some upcoming things too. So exciting things. But let's talk about our flags, okay? So this is the Heartland quilt. It's a really fast, fun quilt to sew together because you're basically making 8 flag blocks and flying geese sashing. So it's not a super complicated block at all. Here's what it looks like. I will show you, because that's what I'm doing today, is showing you. Here is the, oh, let's get it all on the screen. It's a big block, and that's one of the beautiful things about it, is that helps it kind of go together quickly because it is such a big block, and you can just piece it together, and it just has this cute waving effect because the flag pieces are pieced at different angles, so it gives that kind of wave effect in the block. So it's not hard. All we're doing is really sewing together straight seams. And I have gone ahead and prepped some of those today because otherwise we would be here until next Monday sewing. No, it's not that long of a block, but it does take a little bit to sew and cut all those pieces. So I have prepped some of that in advance for you guys. But we're going to talk about just being careful in our cutting and that kind of thing. So last week we pieced our little barn stars. These are the cute little fussy cut stars. Now, if you're sewing with a different fabric collection, you can do something else here. Obviously, well, you could just buy fat quarters of the barn print if you wanted to add that into whatever collection you are working with. It's red, white, and blue, so it should match most collections. Or you can pick from the collection you're sewing with. Maybe you're grabbing from your red, white, and blue in your stash, or mostly just red and white. You could pick a really cute floral and have the flower be the center of the star. You could embroider something. You could applique something. I mean, really, it's a nice size, so you can do whatever you want in this cute star block. So we're going to go under the assumption today that you've pieced your star blocks, and then we're going to piece out the rest of our flags. So, oh, Deb's here. Hey, Deb. I'm so glad you guys are here. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to make up this flag block. Let me switch cameras for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. And look, she doesn't even fit on the on the screen. She's a big baby. It's fine. We love her. So what you're doing is piecing this in a few different sections. So you'll have your stars all done, and then we're going to piece together this section down here, which you can't see, and then we're going to piece this row and then sew them all together. So I'm going to take that a step at a time. Don't feel like, well, that was all the tutorial I get, so too bad for that. Okay, so one of the things that I want you to be careful in is in the cutting. Really, what we're trying to get with this waving flag effect, the reason we want that to have the effect is in having these prints be the same in each stripe. So the stripes aren't all even, right? They wave down, but it's the exact same print. So if you get that mixed up and you have the wrong prints, or you flip these pieces, it's going to lose a little bit of that waving effect, because then you're going to get more of just sort of a patchworky flag. So the important thing is in the instructions, it talks about A1, A2, A3. That's this stripe. So this is A1, this is A2, this is A3. So the reason I did it that way is so you knew that all the A pieces are the same print, all the B pieces are the same print, etc. on down. So you're going to pick for each flag, to give it a scrappy look, but not too scrappy, you're going to pick 4 different red prints and 3 different white prints. Now, again, if you're working from your stash at home, or if you've bought just a little bit of yardage and, you know, you're kind of changing it up a little bit, you don't have to do that. You just need 4 red, you know, cuts and 3 white. So that's the gist of it. But if you're working with the Heartland kit, and there are still some available, I have some in my shop, and there are shops that still have it in my Sweet Freedom shopping list. You can pick up the kit and then work with it and make it exactly like it's shown on the box and right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to be careful when cutting. So if you are cutting out the A pieces, those are all the same print. B pieces are this one. C pieces are this one. And D pieces are this one. Now, and by this one, I don't mean you have to use this exact print for D. You're going to make all your flags different. So let's look at the quilt again. You can see here, hopefully you can tell by the photos, that I used different reds in different places. So not every flag block has the flag print at the bottom. So like this one is the flags. This one is the fireworks. You're going to mix and match them and do different things with them. But that way you have each flag looking a little bit different, but you still are using all the same prints, if that makes sense. And Vicky's here. Hey, Vicky. Okay. Oh, and Judy. Hi, Judy. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to be careful in cutting, and you're going to cut that out as shown in the thing. What I like to do is take a little pencil and mark off each cut, and then if you want to remake the quilt, all you have to do is go in and erase those marks, and then you can mark them again the next time you cut out the quilt. But if you just do it in a pencil, it kind of keeps it tidy and keeps track of what you're doing, okay? So we're going to assume that we have sewn all of our stars together. And we're going to take here's our cute star. This is from last week. And we're going to take now I've told you I've prepped some of this. So we're going to take the A, E, B, and F pieces, and we're going to sew them together. So you are going to just sew straight seams. You're going to sew these 4 pieces together, and you're going to press them all. You're going to press this one up and these down. This piece is the only piece you have to worry about with lining up seams. Everything else, because it's off center and that wave is happening, you don't have to line anything else up. But because you do with this one, I want you to press this top seam up and the rest down. So when we go ahead and sew these 2 pieces together to make the top portion of the main part of the flag, then these seams will nest, and it'll make it a little bit easier for you to sew together. And what I did in the instructions is the A, B, C, and D are the red prints, the E, F, and G are the white prints, just to help you keep it a little bit more organized. So hopefully that's not confusing for you. We have A, E, B, F. Again, all that's labeled in the pattern for you. The pattern is linked in the video description if you don't already have it. And so are the pressing instructions. Okay, so let's take this and move it aside here. We're just going to work through the pattern here. And then you're going to do the exact same thing for this bottom portion. These are longer pieces. So you are going to sew together the C, G, D, and then you're going to have a piece of background fabric. That's the L piece, and it goes at the bottom. So it's a little bit wider than these strips, but you want to make sure that's at the bottom because that's going to give your flag a little bit height in the top part. And then our background pieces are going to eventually like get smaller and then go away to give ourselves this wave. So again, just straight piecing. Really what you're going to do is make sure that you have the pieces labeled. If you need to put a little sticky note and tear it in pieces and mark it like C pieces, D pieces, that sort of thing, that'll help you keep organized. So really, this isn't hard. It's just about organization. So what you're going to do once you have this piece is you're going to start assembling the quilt blocks. So what I'm going to do is take this section and we're going to place it right sides together. And I've made sure my red piece is at the top, not the white piece. And I'm going to take it over to the machine and we're going to sew down this seam. So let's go sew. Okay, I'm having trouble. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Oh, Teresa says, thank you so much for giving the pressing directions. That's so helpful and important. Yay, well, I hope it helps. Some of my earlier patterns don't have that, and I'm in the process of going back through and changing those out. So if you have an older pattern, or if you're, looking for that, you can always ask me questions or whatever. So we're going to line up. Here's where our two seams meet, here and here. And we're going to just go ahead and pin to make sure that everybody plays nice and gets along while we're sewing. I want everybody to play nice. Okay, so we're just going to sew. Again, all seams are 1/4 of an inch, just like in all my quilts. I do not sew over my pins. We want to make sure that's playing nicely there. We're just sewing a straight seam down here. Okay, that got loud. Sorry about that. Okay, so here is what it looks like with the piece sewn together. Okay, so let's go back to our iron and press this in place. Okay, so here we have our cute top part of our flag, and we need to press this in place. So let's bring the iron over on our handy dandy wool mat, and we can check our pattern, and we see that we're supposed to press towards the stripes. Just a little bit easier to press towards the stripes here. Because we have these points, these star points, and I just don't love pressing towards star points. It just makes everybody, including the star points, a little bit on the cranky side. So I'm kind of all about like giving the quilt emotions today, aren't I? We don't want it to be cranky. We want everybody to play nice. I don't know what that's called. I know there's a word for it. Anthropomorph? No, I don't know. Let's not try and be sciencey. It's way too early in the day. Okay, so now we've got our top portion of our flag here, and we have the red at the top, just like it's supposed to be. And now, through the beauty of quilt magic, this is the same width as this right here, which is the bottom portion. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and take this back to the machine, and we're going to sew these two pieces together. And that's going to give us the full height of the quilt block, okay? Personification. Thanks, Deb. Gosh, you're smart. Good job. Oh, really quick, before I go sew, let's talk about the question about a jelly roll. So a jelly roll and a roly-poly, same thing. It's a 2.5-inch strip roll. So I didn't do the measurements for that. I don't know for sure, but these stripe pieces are 2.5-inch strips. Now, again, I didn't plan on it that way because it felt like a waste to me, because we wouldn't be using any of the blue strips, and you would need to buy yardage for the star points and the centers of the stars. But if you do happen to have a jelly roll on hand and you want to use that, feel free to. You might have to supplement a little bit with another red or white. I'm not sure, again, on the math on that, but that is the correct width of these stripes. So if you want to do that, or if you want to pick up a Sweet Freedom jelly roll or roly-poly and just go for it, feel free to do that. You will be following the correct width of the pieces if you would like that. Okay, let's go sew. Okay, so I have this long piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Just not that I'm worried about it lining up. I don't have any seams or anything like that to line up, but just with a long piece, sometimes it helps to pin towards the end. Sorry about the bracelet. I won't wear that next time. It's a little bit on the loud side. It helps to pin towards the end. It just keeps everything lined up correctly, and you don't end up at the bottom with a weird width, you know, your fabric's being off. So it just keeps everything kind of going where it's supposed to go, which is always good. Now I know I have some star points here. I don't want to sew over those, so I'm just going to make sure that I have this as far over as it needs to be. And the nice thing about this laser is it kind of shows me where my seam's going to go. So if I need to do a minute adjustment to make sure I don't sew over that star point, I can do that. It's not going to throw off my quilt block if I'm just doing, you know, the difference between a regular 1/4 inch and a scant in that one little section. It's very forgiving. Leona says she's not a pinner. I'm not normally either, Leona, but I do want to make sure on longer seams that everything ends up where it's supposed to be. So I do tend to do that. So here's what our seam looks like. And now we can see our flag is starting to form, and we can go over and press this. Doesn't it look so cute? Okay. Okay, here's what we have, our cute seam here, and we're going to go ahead and press that down according to the pattern instructions. And we're just going to kind of run along there. This has obviously been folded up, so we have some funky little things here. And I'm going to go ahead and press on this side as well. Give our block a nice, we want it to be nice and straight so that when we go and line up those other pieces, everything is the right width. So I'm going to shimmy this out of the way just so you can see here. So here's what we've got. We have sewn our star block to the stripey section, the first stripey section. That's the technical term in the quilt pattern. And then we have this longer stripe section with the background at the bottom. So our lion's share of the quilt block is sewn together, which is lovely. Now we're going to sew our little skinny strips together. These are basically, well, I'm not going to tell you the measurements are in there, but this is the narrow second piece. And what this piece has is, we're going to make sure it's right sides up here. This piece has a background strip at the top and at the bottom, and these background strips are the same height, so this piece could get sewn on either way. It's going to look right, but the thing that we want to be most careful of is that our fabrics line up. So we want to make sure that this red that's at the top matches this red, then fireworks, then flags, etc., or however you have laid yours out. But we want to make sure that whatever order these are in, this is in. Okay, so again, simple straight piecing, just a matter of order. And if you need to have this portion sewn together and bring it over to your sewing table to sew this portion together, that's not going to really slow you down in time. It is going to save you time if you eventually flip one of these and have to rip them out, because that would be sad. Oh, Janice, thank you. She says it's one of the best flag quilt designs. I love that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew this piece on here. But the beauty of it is, because we have offset these pieces with the background at the top and bottom, there's no lining up of seams. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to take this over to the machine, and we're going to sew a straight seam all the way down here. You ready? Let's go. Okay. Rebecca says she loves the daisies on the red stripe. I do too. I think they're so fun. They remind me a little bit of Daisy Fields. And this one has some bigger flowers, but not really so much the daisies. So I am going to go ahead and pin again towards the bottom of this one to make sure everything is going to end up in the same spot. And now we're going to just do our straight seam here. And I've kind of started it, but I'm just double checking that it's lined up correctly before I go to town. And you can pin throughout this, that's fine too. There's really no reason to do it or not to do it. If you feel like it's not laying nicely, then go ahead and give yourself the stability of those pins. And all the seams here are, for the most part, except for one on the back side, are all pressed down, so you don't have to worry about any seams getting caught under your presser foot either and turned the wrong way. So that's an added bonus. Okay, so now we've sewn this whole seam together. So when we open it out, you can see that it forms the first little leg of that wavy section. So cute, right? And all of our pieces line up with what they're supposed to line up with. So let's take this over and give it a good press. Okay, so we are pressing on this one towards the small sashing. So we're gonna kind of flip it this way, and we're gonna press towards the small seams here. You can press it either direction, really. There's no reason, because nothing has to line up with this later. So if you want to press them towards the big section of the flag, you can do so. That's very fine. No one will come after you. Okay, so this is upside down, but it's a little bit easier at this angle to give this a press on the right side so that it looks nice and pretty. Okay, so here we have that first section. I'm gonna actually turn it at an angle so you can see. So here we have that small section, and what we need to do now is piece together the large section. And you can piece these sections together and then sew them together like it shows in the pattern. It's a little bit easier to teach them one at a time. So, Jackie says, I press from the back first. Is there a reason for that? No, not really. I mean, you can press either way. I just make sure by pressing on the back first and then flipping it to the front, I make sure the seam is going the right way, and pressing it again on the front, make sure that it's laying flat and there's no funky like folds in it. So it's just a double check for me, and I feel like for me, it makes the blocks a little bit flatter. So that's just my personal preference. Okay, so here's what we're doing with this last leg. So this one is upside down. This one has the same order, you know, the daisies at the top, then the fireworks, etc., all the way down. But this one is going to have a large section of background fabric at the top, not at the bottom. So you're going to only you'll sew it towards the top, but make sure when you sew it onto your flag that it goes towards the top. If you flip it and put it towards the bottom, your flag will do a wave that has a dip in the middle. And we don't necessarily want that. That's not quite the goal we have here. So we're trying to get a descending step sort of situation happening here. So this is the last piece. Again, all straight seams, but we've made sure that our pieces are in the same order. So A, E, B, F, C, etc. on down, okay? So let's take this one over to the machine, again, just like we did with the other one, and then we're going to sew this in place, just along that seam there, okay? One last seam. Oh, Rebecca says she loves the background fabric for this quilt. Thank you, Rebecca. This is my Dainty Daisy Stargazer colorway. So the fabric is Dainty Daisy, and so it's like all my other Dainty Daisy prints, but the background fabric is just a really pretty like bluish teal color here. And I love how it turned out. It's one of my favorites. I'm using it as a background in another quilt that's coming out in February. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. So here we're going to sew. Again, I've made sure my background fabric is at the top. Do you guys ever drive like a new car and then you kind of get on there and you either hit the gas or hit the brakes and it's just really, really fast? Even though I've sewn with this machine a billion times, sometimes I get the little like rear of hitting down on that pedal too hard. So we're just sewing a nice, and you can see like as you piece these sections together, it really does go together quite quickly because it's just a lot of straight seams. And we only have to do this 8 times. So that is lovely. So here is the remainder of our quilt block. We've got our background at the fabric and our rows of prints all line up nice and pretty. And now we're going to go press this, and we're going to talk about a couple other things. Okay, so here we have our block. You can see it's really nice, and we're going to again press towards the new piece that we just added. And then we will talk about how these blocks go together. We're not going to put them together yet because we still have to do our sashing next week. We have to do our flying geese sashing next week. You guys are going to love that because that is easy peasy. We're just going to make cute little flying geese and then sew them together. It's very, very fun. So the nice thing is that's the block. It's a lot of straight seams, but as really the only tricky thing about it is getting those prints lined up, and that's all you have to watch out for. So you're just going to work on being organized and labeling your pieces and all of that kind of stuff. So the nice thing about this block, you can see here, is we have built in the sashing in the block. So when we go to sew them together in a couple weeks, all you have to do is sew one flag on top of each other. Because you can see here, this is the bottom of this block, but it's the beginning of the next block. Because I built the sashing in, it makes it so easy. We don't even have to sew sashing together. So once you have all of your flags done, if you want, you can go ahead and sew them in 2 columns of 4 each. I mean, really, how fast and fun is that, you guys? It's just so great. So that's all there is to the flag blocks. They're really easy and really fun to sew together. And I think you'll find that they go together in no time. And next week, we're going to talk about doing the flying geese. So down the center of the quilt, we have 4 little sections of flying geese that are sewn together. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in each. And we're just going to use the remainder of the red and white fabrics that we have from our fat quarters. There's no, specific ones you need to use. And we're going to sew those together in a cute little sashing. It's just kind of a fun little like, ooh, something interesting is going on between these flags. Not necessarily like, I don't know any really patriotic reason for doing it other than I thought it looked cute. Okay, so that's all we have for our tutorial on Heartland today. So I want to show you guys my RBD block challenge block from last week. This block is Amanda Niederhauser's, and it is called Put a Spin on It. I originally had the wrong name in the blog post, and then I realized I was using this week's name instead of last week's name. But, oh, I want to miss something. Oh, Rebecca says she likes dark backgrounds for quilts. I am too. It's kind of a fun change, right? Like I did a lot of my quilts light backgrounds, but there's really something to a dark background quilt that lets the blocks pop. So it's been fun for me to add those in as options for quilts. So this is a fun quilt. It's kind of a double pinwheel too. It's got a pinwheel here in the center and then a large pinwheel outside and then cute little corner pieces. This is from my afternoon tea fabric collection. I'm sewing with this whole collection for the RBD block challenge. Again, I shared at the beginning of the video. Tomorrow is the last block in the series, and then we will release the full layout the following Tuesday. So super exciting times ahead. I can't wait for you guys to see the whole thing. I can't wait to see the whole thing. It's going to be so fun. So this is the put a spin on it block. Super cute block. Wouldn't this look cute on a tote bag? Like if you just made this and then pieced it onto a tote bag, I think that would be just so cute. So perfect for like a cute scrappy. So you can get the link for that on my website. I have all the RBD block challenge blocks linked, and you can find those on my site, linked in today's video description. And now it's giveaway time. Yay! So last week we had a fun giveaway. In fact, I broke it open because I wanted you guys to see how cute Tulip Cottage was. It's Melissa Mortens's current fabric collection. It's in stores now. It's gorgeous. If you guys weren't watching last week's video, then please go back and check out. It's at the end, and I open up the 10-inch stacker so you guys can see all the prints in it. Here's a little kind of thumbnail of all the pretty colors. It's got blues and greens and pinks, and it's just stunning, you guys. So it's a 10-inch stacker of Tulip Cottage. I have a coordinating, because, you know, all of our gifts should coordinate. Green Cute Cuts 6.5-inch ruler from Lori Holt. And also from Lori Holt, this darling little wrist pin cushion, so you can keep your pins accessed easily. My giveaways are super easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment, and that's all you have to do. That is your entry into the giveaway, and you can do that whether you're watching live or later in the week, and you can do it whether you live in the US or you're international. So it's open to everyone, and I draw the winner the Monday before, right before the next video. So our winner from last week is Carol Garrison. I don't know if that's going to actually focus, but you get the, there it is. Carol Garrison is our winner from last week. So Carol, email me at bev@flamingotoes.com, and I will get this out to you in the mail this week. So yay for that. Also want to thank you guys so much for supporting the shop. We've been selling a lot of Dainty Daisy in the shop lately, and I'm really thankful for that. So I'm so glad that you guys are excited that we're starting to carry Dainty Daisy yardage in the shop. So yay, thank you for that. That block did look like a pinwheel that blows in the wind, Rebecca. Yes. And Debbie's here. Hey, Debbie, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, yay. Okay, so this is this week's giveaway, you guys. This is part of the RBD bench pillow kit from a couple years ago. This one is designed by Jill Finley of Jill Lily Studio. If you guys know Jill, she has the most stunning quilts, like really, really beautiful. I think if you aren't following her, then you should check her out. If you've ever wanted to learn applique, she has fabulous notions and tools to make it easier, and she's really great at teaching it. So this has a little bit of applique on it just for the, actually I think it's embroidery, not applique. So this is the cute kit to make this little kite bench pillow. And how perfect is this for summer, you guys? It's super colorful. It would look so cute anywhere. Wouldn't that look cute on your bed? Or if you have like an entryway bench like this one. So the quilt blocks are all pieced of the little flags, and then there's a little bit of embroidery. You can kind of see it down here, embroidery of the tails. So you could add that on with embroidery, or you could do something like applique or glue. I won't tell anybody. A little bit of ribbon or something cute like that for the tail of the quilt, of the kite. So very cute, and not all of them even have tails. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tails. So cute. And everything that comes in the kit will make the front of the pillow and the binding of the pillow, and you just need backing fabric, and you could use anything for that. So everything is in this kit. It's called Fly a Kite. It's so cute for summer. I think after you take all your patriotic stuff down, this should go up because like it just screams summer to me. And the colors are so cute, right? So that is this week's giveaway. All you have to do is leave a comment, whatever you would like, and I will announce the winner next week. So next week is Memorial Day, and that's okay. We're gonna have a video anyway. If you can make it, that's great. If you can't make it, the video will be available for you to watch whenever you would like, so no stressing on that. And we are going to go over flying geese, and then the following week we will put everything together. So we'll talk about, you know, putting all that sashing in place in the center and sewing up our quilts with the borders. So easy peasy and fun, and hopefully in time for the 4th of July. And if not, you know, there's other patriotic holidays. Here in the South, we leave our patriotic stuff up almost all summer long. Like, it kind of stays up through, I don't know, sometime mid-August. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the fall stuff. So I pull it down. But our patriotic stuff stays up for a long time. So that is coming up. After we do that sew along, I'm going to have a little week or two break, and then we are going to sew together my orange Pico quilt. Now, I did add a couple more of the orange Pico quilt kits into the shop. If you guys buy those, I think I have stuff for a couple more. I'll have to look. But you can sew it with any fabric. So I have the kits in afternoon tea, but it's 10-inch stacker friendly. So you can grab Sweet Freedom. I have 10-inch stackers of Sweet Acres. If you want a Halloween quilt, I have Haunted Adventure. I even have a couple 10-inch stackers of Daisy Fields and Christmas Adventure left in the shop. So, and of course you can buy your 10-inch stacker anywhere or use one from your stash. So no worries there. But I would love to sew this quilt up with you. Think about it. Don't be afraid about applique. It's a really fun quilt to sew together. So we're going to do that in the summer, and it's going to be really fun. So I will have dates for you on that soon. So I will see you guys next week. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, Lisa says she's having her Quilt Guild meeting that morning also next week. Nice. Teresa says, yay, a video on a holiday. Oh, Ellen says that pillow would be adorable on a porch swing. Love that idea. That would be so cute. Great idea, Ellen. Okay, everybody, have a fabulous week. Stay cool. Stay mosquito-free. It's beginning, you guys. The summer is beginning. I will see you next week on Memorial Day. We will sew up some cute flying geese together. It'll be super fun. And I will talk to you then. Don't forget to stop by the website tomorrow to see the last RBD Block Challenge block of the year. Super exciting times, you guys. And it's a pretty one. You're going to love it. All right. Thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Y'all are the best. Talk to you later.